So let's get into this. We're going to talk about our picks for 2022. But before we talk about our picks for 2022, let's talk about one other current event because I definitely want to just speak about this because it's inevitable that somebody's going to ask this question. The stock market was down pretty heavy today. It was down 433 points. It was down 600 points at one point, the Dow. The NASDAQ was down 188 points. And shout out to our guy, Charlemagne the God, who had the vice president on his show, and he asked about Joe Manchin. Mm-hmm. First time a lot of people ever heard of him. Mm-hmm. And he also, he didn't, but we know that Omnicron is running rampant in the streets. Yep. So those two things caused the stock market to go down. Now, Joe Manchin is interesting because he is a moderate Democrat from West Virginia. Yep. And he's like a swing vote. So I believe he said that he's not going to vote for Biden for the new bill.
Which is interesting because he said it the day after that interview came out. So Charlemagne's interview came out and the vice president, Kamala Harris, responded and said that Joe was the president and don't talk like. And then the next day he decided to say, you know what, I'm not voting in their favor.
Yeah.
And you need that. So like how it works, they need, obviously there's 50 and 50, right? Republicans and Democrats. You need all 50. If you need 60 or maybe 55 to get anything passed. So you can't have one person on your party saying that we're not going to do it. It kind of has to be a unified effort.
You can if there's enough, but it's like kind of not enough. Yeah. So he's a very important person.
He's a big piece of that.
West Virginia is a Republican state traditionally. And so he's one of these, like what they call moderate Democrats who's like leans a lot towards Republicans. Mm-hmm. So he has to do things to satisfy his constituency. And a lot of times he goes against the Democratic agenda, which causes problems for the Democrats. So that's why Charlemagne was like, is he the president? Because it's like he has a lot of power because his one vote is very, very needed because it's such a thin margin.
Right. He doesn't have much room for error here.
Yeah.
You can always tell the truth by how someone responds to something. So when she got that upset, no, Charlemagne, we're not going to do that. Like, fellas, like your girl ever asked you, who is Bianca? You like, I don't know who Bianca is.
I don't know
Why you asking? Right?
I don't know, Kiana.
Right? So the answer told you, yes, he has more power than he should. And I know you guys got upset when I was like, hey, Sleepy Joe, but he hasn't led in a presidential fashion since the time that he took office. And he broke every promise that he said that he would to our community, even though we voted for him in droves. I don't know why. Joe Manchin pretty much is acting as president right now. And then please put in chat, name me 3 things that Biden and Kamala Harris has done that they promised since they've been in office.
I'll wait.
Yeah, we're going to wait.
Yeah. I'm telling you, there's going to be a point in time very soon when we finally get a elected official that delivers on what they promise. Man, they're going to be able to sweep the board. Because everyone's always like, hey, politicians say one thing to get in office and never deliver. Imagine if they actually deliver on what they're going to say. They will have a dictatorship in this country. Please be mindful. Please be mindful of what's to come.
And let's talk about. So this is why Ian always says, long-term investing. And this is why we always preach long-term investing. I'm gonna explain this. So the problem with short-term investing or short-term trades is that you can make a lot of money, and technical analysis is real, but there's some things that's out of your control, like a global pandemic that won't go away. That's on his third leg. Like a renegade politician that just decides he doesn't want to. So in the long term, it's not going to affect the market in years, but in a week, in 2 weeks, that's why it's like no matter what kind of technical analysis you study, and this is my favorite quote of EYL ever was from Big Business when he said, "It's not so much the stock or the company, it's the economy. If the economy takes a hit, you can have the strongest stock in the world. It's still going to go down." Mm-hmm. And that's the problem with the short-term swing trades, short-term investing is that, sometimes you get hit with things that's out of your control that have nothing to do with anything. Yeah. And it could cause you to lose a lot of money.
Yeah, Omicron is one of those things.
Yeah, Omicron. Who would have?
I mean, we're seeing rates that we've never seen. The highest rates ever.
New York City reported its highest one-day new case thing last week ever for the history of Corona. So this was just a couple days ago. Nobody would have forecasted that. Like New York City has the highest vaccination rate out of any city in America.
Protection measures of any city I've ever been in.
Yeah. And with all of that, they got this highest one-day new case ever.
And we're seeing vaccinated people get it. We're seeing unvaccinated get it. We're seeing people with the vaccination and the booster get it. It's just a crazy time right now, man. And like I said, you can't predict, right? So if there's fears of that, market's going to take a hit. Plus, obviously, we said this and we spoke about this, but we told you that what was going to happen on Friday, and it did. And some of your contracts expired, and some of y'all didn't pay attention. Maybe you lost money. Hopefully you didn't. But it's a shortened week. And the holidays, and we saw this during Thanksgiving, right? The week of Thanksgiving, if you go look back at the market, and that wasn't too long ago, you saw the volatility in the market on a shortened week. We're approaching Christmas. Market is going to be closed on Friday. Shortened week. Similar situation, y'all.
Plus weak economic data, rising inflation. The Fed is going to finally start tapering. And here's the truth that no one wants to say. The economy has been bad for a long time. America has not been prepared for a crisis, and we have two really big crises on our hands. One, water shortage. Everyone forgets that. Shout out to CGW. Then we have a food shortage. Let me ask you guys a question for those of you that are 30 and older. In the last 10 years, have you guys seen any fireflies in nature? One of the biggest issues that we're facing in our society is the rapid decline of insects. And if you look down the ecosystem and how it affects our food supply, it is getting worse. So those two things in combination plus rising inflation, by 2043, we're supposed to have a Great Depression-like collapse. And if we don't fix a couple of these issues, we can get there pretty fast. I'm not here to scare you, but please go do your research. And even with not knowing what could happen, if you go study the Spanish flu like we told you, and you go back to the first 20 episodes of Market Mondays, we told you how long it will last. We're here. Buckle up. Things are going to get rougher before they get better.
Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen.